your relationship with literature. You just mentioned Tolstoy as a model of literature and of description of human, the human soul, the human way of seeing the world. But do you have other authors who can be considered as model, both in the classical tradition and in the contemporary one?
In the contemporary one, a very important figure for me has been the American writer John Upton, who himself, I think, was interested in giving us a world, society, historical moment in the way that concerned Tolstoy. In a more classical context, an English writer that has been of great importance to me is Jane Austen. The irony, the precision of the prose, the tenderness of the examination of relationships, the structural sense too.
And what concerns living authors, for example, the American author Cormac McCarthy, have you ever read him?
Yes, I've read him for a long, long time, right from the beginning when he was still in the grip of Hemingway. There's a lyrical beauty to, especially to the early writing. I love All the Pretty Horses as a novel. All the Pretty Horses. But The Road, I mean, of course, is an apocalyptic novel.
Yeah, The Road
has a nihilism about it that is almost beautiful.
What is your attitude? You mentioned the nihilism. What is your attitude towards philosophy in general?
Towards philosophy? I'm only interested now in philosophy that connects with neuroscience. In other words, neuroscience. In other words, philosophy that doesn't look at the evidence.
In this novel, the connection with the neuroscience is very apparent.
So I'm interested in the philosophers like Daniel Dennett.
One of the greatest analytical philosophers.
Well, I mean, and he has an interface with science. So I think that science has brought philosophy into a much richer, more positive realm. And Daniel has actually proposed, for example, experiments to cognitive psychologists. A very interesting experiment with, do you know this experiment? Where a child comes into a room and there's a stone, and Sally, one child knows where the stone is, and when she comes out of the room, the stone is moved, and the children are watching are asked, where is she going to look? And up until the age of 4, children always get it wrong. So it was a beautiful experiment devised by Daniel Dennett.
Intentionality.
Well, intentionality, but also theory of mind. Is about
like
the analytical philosophy.
So that's the bit of philosophy that interests me. Less so the Oxford School of Freddie Eyre. Whether we all see the same colour green or I'm just getting impatient.
And last question, poetry. Have you ever considered the possibility of writing poetry?
Not really. I used to write it when I was a student. Now it's too late, I think. It's a discipline. I don't take the view that just anybody can write poetry. I think it's
among the poets, who do you appreciate the most?
I very much like the poetry of Craig Raine, who is going to be doing Atonement for Michael. The English poet James Fenton.
Auden, W.H. Auden.
I thought you meant of contemporary poets.
Auden, Eliot.
Oh yes, I mean those were probably amongst those of the dead poets, of recently dead poets. Philip Larkin is the most important to me.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay.